Welcome back to part 2 of your sales page makeover. Last week in episode 41, we tackled the first 5 basics. This week, we're turning your pretty page into one that actually sells, because we all know looks don't pay the bills. Hey there, creative business owners. Welcome to the Higher Purpose Marketing Strategy Podcast. I'm Ashley Conway, and for over 20 years, I've been helping creative businesses as a marketing expert and copywriter. If you've ever felt like your branding or marketing is holding back your business's growth and you're over being on the DIY hamster wheel, you're in the right place. Each week, I'll walk you through simple, story-filled strategies to build a harmonious marketing system that attracts your ideal high-paying clients without the overwhelm. Ready to make marketing work for you? Let's go. Last week on episode 41, we talked about the foundation, the bones of your sales page. Today, we're going to finish the job with the final 5 elements that turn your browsers into buyers. So if your sales page already looks polished, but it still isn't converting, this episode and number 41, these are your solutions. Today, we're going to talk about credibility boosters and trust builders that seal the deal and really do make the difference in proving that you are different from every other person out there who is saying that they do what you do and they're saying that they get the same results, which probably isn't true. So we're back with our example today with, remember, the therapist and her anxiety reset coaching program. So our therapist here, she already has the foundation in place. She's gone through those first few steps of like her program name and her tagline and getting in, focusing on the problem and the solution, telling them about the benefits of this program, and then a little bit about the features, telling them about herself. So this is where we're jumping in now with section number 6. It's about testimonials / credibility bar is what I call it. So this is the point where we've just come from, our therapist in this example is telling people about herself. Like, I have this many years of experience. I've worked with this many patients, that type of thing. So right below that, it naturally flows that this is a really good place to add in some proof. We need, as buyers, think of yourself as a buyer of anything, goods, services, it doesn't matter. We like to have proof that something works before we buy it. We like hearing other people's opinions. Like, what was your experience like? For example, like the area that I live in is kind of in the Salt Lake City metro. So my town is booming in growth. Like, construction is everywhere. There's tons of constantly new shops and restaurants and different things coming in. So it's often like, hey, this is open, that's open. Have you tried it, kind of thing. So when my friend tells me, yeah, I went to this new restaurant and it was great and pretty reasonably priced, then I'm more likely to go check that out myself because she's already given me a great recommendation, right? So it's the same way when we're looking at things at service providers, right? We are more likely to buy from another person that reminds us of ourselves who had a great experience. And it doesn't have to be someone that we know. Just knowing a little more about someone, and it's not just a company saying we're great, we do great work, but actual customers that say it, really goes a long way. So our therapist example. Now keep in mind, this may not be as tricky for all of you listening. For a therapist, it's tricky because there is privacy, right? There's a lot that she can't say, and most of her clients are not going to want to identify themselves. Some will, and I say use those. If you if you're somebody like a therapist and you reach out to your email list or your former client list and you say, I'm creating a sales page for my site and I'm looking for some testimonials. Would you be willing to help, kind of thing? Some of them may volunteer to say, yeah, I went through this anxiety program and it's made a world of difference, and be willing to put their first name on it. So you just kind of work with what you have. So here's our example. Here's a testimonial that this therapist might be able to get from one of her former clients who've been through this program. Before working with Dr. Emily, I couldn't get through a day without spiraling. Now I sleep through the night and actually enjoy time with my kids again. Now, this example doesn't have a person's name on it, and that's okay because they told enough about themselves in their quote that a person's going to identify with them. They couldn't sleep through the night, and now they can. Anybody who has sleep issues is going to say, oh, that's so me. And she also says, I enjoy time with my kids again. So if you're a parent, you're automatically going to identify with this too. But if for some reason you don't have testimonials yet, if this is a new service or a product, or you do find yourself in a situation like this where for privacy reasons you can't disclose something, let's be clever in turning our experience and our credibility into data. So she could say that she's helped 50 plus clients. So sometimes we can take the things that we've done and turn those into visual elements. So she could have icons in this area that have, like it has a little person outline and there's 50 plus clients helped. You could use other things that you do, like with a therapist. Maybe it's like she's been published in multiple places. She could put how many places. She could put the logos of those places. Let's see, what else could she do? She's been featured on podcasts, or it's showing that that you're a real professional, that you're not just some self-taught person out here, that you have barely worked with 5 people before, that you are a proven credible person. And this is where you show it at. And sometimes we have to get clever about how we do this. If it's something new, or if it's a situation like this, maybe maybe this anxiety reset program is completely new, but she does have some testimonials from people talking about her in general, not some from the program yet, but some saying, Dr. Emily's an incredible therapist. Working with her has completely transformed my life. And, whatever that may be. Maybe you can use some more generic things that just speak to your expertise. So, but this section is very important. Make sure you always have some kind of testimonials, reviews, case study, anything. Make sure you have a section like this on a sales page so people know what they're getting from other people just like them. The 7th section is, let's take a closer look at what they're actually going to get in this program. So where we did this from a very high level in episode 41, we talked about this, very high level of what they're getting in the program. Now we want to dig a little bit deeper and give them a little more information for the people who really want to know the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts. However, don't tell them every single thing. If it's a course, don't tell them. You can tell them how many modules, but you don't have to tell them 56 lessons. It'll take 100 hours to get through. That's too much. It's overwhelming. People are going to start to think, I don't have time or capacity in my life for this. So we still want to make it easy, but also show that they are getting a lot of value for the amount they're investing. So in this example, she could say, since they're going to have 12 weekly calls, I think what we said on episode 41, they get 12 weeks, a 12-week program, and they get a weekly call every single week. So week 1 is like identify your anxiety triggers. Week 2 is build calming routines that stick. Week 3, learn how to say no without guilt. So they will tell them like these are the nuts and bolts of what we're going to talk about. It's not going to be some generic thing where we just hope I come out with less anxiety. It's like, these are the steps that will get you to having less anxiety. And this is also a good place to add more visuals, icons, graphics. If it's a digital product, definitely give us a short video walkthrough. You can record something and go through it on YouTube and embed that video in the page. Because keep in mind, sales pages, this is a note overall, are copy heavy. It's just the nature of the page. So we have to break that up and make it easier to digest and to read and make it feel less heavy with our visuals. And that can be the things you're thinking of right now, which are probably like photos. It can also be icons or patterns or neat ways of sectioning the page and dividing those. That's what a web designer is fantastic at taking large or small amounts of copy and ordering them and designing them in a way that it will be really pleasing to the person reading it. Okay, so that's number 7. Let's go to number 8. This is all you'll notice in this second half of the sales page. We're really starting to get into more like logistics, some things that aren't as fun, but they're necessary. So number 8 is like I call it your legal section, your policies, your guarantees. They're boring details, I'm not going to lie, but they build trust. So one thing that she could address here, this therapist, is about most people are going to ask, well, what about refunds? What if I start and I'm like, this isn't for me? So this is a good place to put here on the page because this is a personalized coaching program. All sales are final, but you'll walk away with lifelong tools you can use immediately. So this is the place to talk about things like this. How do you deal with all sales final? Do you do refunds? Do you have a guarantee? Is there any type of disclaimer you need to make here about what isn't included? This is where you would put it. I know, like I said, it's boring, but being clear here, clear but brief, is going to convey that you are a professional, that this wasn't done with duct tape and Band-Aids. Like this is a professional program, that you do have legal terms to it. It just adds to your credibility. Now, one of my favorite sections that is like so underrated is the FAQ section. It's number 9. This is the perfect place to address objections. And so many people kind of let this go to waste, which I hate for them. So let's think about, and I'll show you how we do this. Think about if you are this therapist and you are selling this anxiety reset coaching program, what are some of the common objections that you are going to get as you tell people about this program? So some people are going to say, what if I've already tried therapy and it didn't do anything? And the response to that could be, this program takes the things you learn like in theory, like you would in therapy, and helps you implement it. Like this is the next step. Or the question could be, do I have time for this? That's almost everybody's question with everything. How much time is this going to take? And that's where you reiterate. Each session is only 1 hour a week, and the mental peace that you gain will save you way more than an hour. This is also a place, I'm just going to give you some ideas of questions that could apply to your business. Why should they choose you over someone else? And it gives you, space that you can speak to what your strengths are. Like how much time should they be prepared to dedicate? You can talk about cost. I've had some clients I've worked with that they knew they were a luxury service provider. They knew they were on the high end of, compared to their competition, that they were on the high end of pricing. So this is your place to address this. Like, why are you more expensive than your competitors is the question. And then you have time to say, you have that paragraph to say, this is why. Because of our training, we train our people, because of our experience, because of our output, because of the extras we offer. Whatever it is, whatever your reasoning is, that's your place to put it. Are there any extras? Maybe another, like, are there any resources or tools provided that I can use after? This is a good one for this one. After the program is over, do you provide me with any resources or tools that I can use after? And that's a perfect time for this therapist to talk about the little extras that they offer. If it is like, yeah, there's guides that I give you, or checklists or toolkits or all of these things, that's a great place to put it. And another one is, this is kind of a final one to always include. What if I have questions? This is the question. What if I have questions that aren't answered on this page? And this is where you put, we'd love to answer your questions and help you in any way we can. Contact us at hello@whatever your website name is, or info@whatever your website name is, to give them a space where if they still have questions after going through this, what do they do next? Then the final segment number 10, is summary. Think about the summary section just like you would if you were having an actual face-to-face conversation with a potential client and you're telling them about your service package. At the very end, traditionally in sales, it's called closing the deal. And even though that sounds really harsh and not very friendly, that is kind of what the summary section is about. You are reminding them of what they're struggling with now and how your solution will help them solve that problem. We're not trying to take advantage of people. We're not trying to strong arm people. We are simply offering a solution that will help with a lot of people's problems. We're trying to be good servants here. And this is a good place to remind them of that. So let's go back to our therapist and let's give an example of what this summary section would look like. Imagine a month from now, sleeping through the night. You're handling everyday stress calmly, and you're actually enjoying your evenings again with your family. That's what the Anxiety Reset coaching program delivers. Then right below this statement, it's very short, is your same button of buy now, book now, call now, whatever that is. You have the button there, and that puts a close on the page. It's like ending the book. That is your final statement. If you want your own sales page to flow just like this, to convert, to sell this powerfully, to connect with people, to really draw you in the exact people that you want to work with, book a session with me. Book this completely free strategy session, and let's go through the page that you are building or that you already have that isn't performing like you want it to. We'll walk through it together, and we'll come up with a plan of how to make it really work for you. You can do that at bit.ly/beweirdcall. Thanks for listening. I trust this has been helpful. Stay weird.
Thanks for listening to today's show. For all things podcast, including transcripts, extra resources, and a place to submit questions for the show, visit higherpurposemarketingstrategy.com. I'd also love for you to do me 2 quick favors. 1, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and 2, share this episode with your colleagues. And that's a wrap. Meet you back here next week.